This podcast is part of the Listen Frederick Podcast Network. To learn more, visit listenfrederick.com.
The Fedora Files.
Hello and welcome to the Fedora Files. I am Gregory Fedora, and I'm so happy you're here. Today, I'm going to look into a story, and I like ghost stories. I like folklore. I like this kind of stuff. And I was doing some research this past week, and in Maryland, there's a town called Ellicott City, and as I was doing research on the place, it is actually considered one of the most haunted cities in America, which I did not know. And it's interesting to me because my wife's grandparents lived in Ellicott City. And one of the things is there behind Ellicott City, there's a place called Seven Hills. And it's the Seven Hills Road. It's this huge, twisty, twirly kind of road. I've not been to it. Now I want to go check it out. But it has this lore about and it's basically this thing called the Demon Truck of Seven Hills Road. Now, if you live in Ellicott City, I'd love to hear if you've ever had an encounters. People say they've had encounters with this thing, this phantom vehicle, and I like phantom vehicle stories. There's a lot of them out there, different like motorcycles or demon cars. There's even movies about these kind of things that people, that Stephen King wrote a book about it. But the story is this. On Seven Hills Road, it's this like long stretch of road. And if you're there at midnight on the road, you need to watch out for the demon truck. It's a jet black vehicle driven by a faceless entity. So there's a driver involved, but you can't see his face. Like if you do, he has like no face. It's just blank. And those who've encountered the demon truck says it appears out of thin air, barreling down the road at like 100 miles an hour. And it's like hell-bent on like causing your vehicle to crash. And a lot of people have had accidents on Seven Hills Road. Now, it is a twisty road, apparently. So maybe perhaps they were driving too fast and then blamed it on this demon truck, supposedly. Now, one guy said this girl named Barb Polahan said that her brother Tim was one of those who lost their life on the road in 1971. And he wasn't driving, but with a group of his friends, and they were kind of just joyriding, so probably going a little too fast. And they said that they were just coming, out of Cantonsville, and as they hit Seven Hills Road, they said this thing came out of nowhere. Now the actual name of the road, the locals call it Seven Hills Road, but the actual name is the College Avenue, and it claimed dozens and dozens of lives over the years, just because it's dangerous. But a lot of people blame it to this demon truck. They say, it comes down, scares people off the road. So here's an interesting thing. On October 11th, in 2011, a family of four decided to investigate the Ellicott City dark legends. And after the sun went down, they hopped in their car and set off for the Heartbeat Bridge, which is a site which is considered a crybaby bridge. And they stopped to search for the ghost of the, different places. And they claimed that they saw the demon truck, Seven Hills Road. Now, whether or not they did, I don't know. I don't know what they saw. But I found it interesting. Now, like researching like different demon cars, it's just an interesting phenomenon. It's kind of similar to the lady in white. I think everybody's heard the stories of the ladies in whites throughout the country, but it seems like every state has a lady in white story where somebody will see her on side road, pick her up, she'll be in the car, and they'll be talking to her, and then she suddenly vanishes. And oftentimes, when she vanishes, they stop, and either they see to the right, like those crosses on the roads where there was an accident or someone was killed, and they put it, or they'll be stopped by a cemetery and she's gone. And so every state that I know of has one of these tales, and I believe every state has a folklore story about demon cars, and this is just an interesting. I know that they're called ghost cars, demon cars. Um, and really these legends obviously came about like as you know the 20th century came about and vehicles started becoming more around, and it's more of an American thing. I don't think there's too many European ghost stories about demon cars or ghost cars as they call them. um, they go by now like everyone like just to clarify, there's phantom cars, haunted cars, cursed cars, spectral cars, ghostly cars, horror cars, wraith on wheels, spectral divers, and possessed cars. And they're always like on lonely roads. Uh, they're on roads that have a history of a lot of accidents, and you can like YouTube. There's some people who have some pretty interesting videos of these things. Most of the time, they just show up, scare you, and go about their way. But a lot of times, people claim that they come at you and try and destroy you and kill you, as is the case of the demon truck of Seven Hills Road. Now, have you ever had a sighting or anything like that? Have you ever encountered one of these tales? Do you have one in your state that you know about? Have you ever had a friend tell you a story about it? I'd love to know about more about these like ghost cars and these different vehicles. Um, I think they're fascinating. Probably should write a book about all the ghost vehicles that are out there getting people, killing them. But why are they doing it? But I think it's interesting, that it's an American thing. We, maybe if you're in Europe or something and you're listening, if you could find out, maybe I'm surprised the Audubon does not have a ghost vehicle, as it were. But I find these stories fascinating. Uh, they're like some of the crazy urban legends of these things are pretty, just pretty fascinating. One of the ghost stories involves obviously James Dean. And this is another interesting one. If you go to the road, uh, as everyone knows, he was flying down the road and in his Porsche Spider. And people claim that on the anniversary of his death, if you're on the road, you will see um, hit him driving on the same road, just having a good time, and people have claimed to seen that. Another interesting phenomenon: people claim that they've actually seen the Kennedy motorcade uh, limo at midnight driving down the same road where he was shot, and which I find interesting. Nobody seems to have any photos of that, but it's another one of those so that like famous places. Other people claim that if you go to where Bonnie and Clyde were killed, you can go and see it happen again, and it's kind of like a timestamp where it just keeps happening and happening and over and over and over. But you gotta go on the date that it occurred at midnight. Now I don't know if you have to go the day before and then at midnight of into the next day, which is when they were killed. anniversary. It's unclear, so you might have to go 2 nights in a row to see it. I don't know. These are just interesting things. These are like the folklore. And like when I came across the demon car or demon truck of Seven Hills, I'd never heard of it. And it's a Maryland thing, and I live in Maryland. So I wanted to make sure that this story got preserved and that people got to continue to hear about it and that we don't lose it, because it's just another one of those fun little stories that is out there that makes Maryland interesting. There's a lot of cool little ghost stories and monster stories in Maryland, obviously, but this was just a different one. So, if you live in Maryland, would you dare venture down to College Avenue and see if you could encounter the demon truck of Seven Hills Road? Would you do it? I kind of want to go see it. I kind of want to go see the road. I don't want to do it at night. I don't want to encounter. I'm like, I've had ghost people on here and I've talked about it. Like, I find the stories fascinating, but I'm not one that I want to go and be encountered these things. Something about supernatural ghosts and demons and goblins. I just don't want to deal with them because I can't see them. I guess you would see a demon truck, but a guy with no face driving? I mean, come on. That's not cool. That's scary. That's scary. You scared? Scary. But yeah, what are your thoughts on phantom cars? Do you think it's just like kids trying to, like, they got in an accident, so they're like, hey, Mom, Dad, it was a demon car, chased me off the road? Or do you think, there's something there? Obviously, this road has a lot of people who have died on it, so maybe there is something to it, that there's something about this road that maybe it's cursed, a cursed road. Perhaps I'll have to do more research on Seven Hills Road and figure out what is the story behind it. Maybe there's something going back even further. Maybe Mole Dyer put a curse on the road, although she's nowhere near that area. But still, maybe there's something there, that something happened on Seven Hills that we don't know about. And now the dark entity has taken the form of a demon truck, and it's out to get those children. Kind of like every horror film. Like, it's always teenagers who are encountering the bad guys and, fornicating and then get slaughtered. Perhaps, whatever it is doesn't like kids. This is understandable. Kids can be annoying. But anyway, so there you have it. That is the story of, or that's not the story, but that is the folklore of the demon truck. It's jet black, driven by a faceless entity, and it will try and knock you off the road. So, as you're out there traveling around, wherever you are, watch out for those jet black cars with faceless entities driving. They're out to get you. And as always, stay safe and keep searching.
The Fedora Files.
Check out FedoraCRT.com today.